America in the 1800s was, well, a bit of a mess. A big growing nation with big growing problems. And standing right in the middle of it was Abraham Lincoln, tall, honest, and probably very tired.
Very tired.
On the southern side, you've got Jefferson Davis, a man whose own pet parrot couldn't stand him.
I don't want to talk about that.
And on the northern side, Abraham Lincoln, tall, honest, and absolutely obsessed with cats.
They were good boys.
And this guy, he's just here.
Can we wrap this up?
The North and South couldn't agree on, well, anything.
We're leaving. The South is forming its own country. No.
The Confederacy was forming faster than a Walmart shopping list. South Carolina checked out first. Mississippi followed immediately. Alabama and Georgia were right behind them like, yeah, we're done too. And leading the charge was Jefferson Davis, looking very proud of this questionable shopping list.
We're definitely taking all of these.
Meanwhile, Lincoln was not impressed.
Seriously?
Things finally boiled over at Fort Sumter, where both sides were staring each other down like angry neighbors fighting over a parking spot.
Please don't do anything stupid.
And then, boom, the first shot of the Civil War. Neither side really planned for this, they just started shooting.
Was that me?
I thought you fired first.
When the first major battle started, civilians literally showed up to watch it. They brought food, they brought blankets, they brought kids. As cannons fired in the distance, these folks sat there like they were at a football game.
Should have brought more cheese.
But when the fighting got closer, they realized, oh no.
Run!
While everyone was panicking, the Union introduced their secret weapon, Ulysses S. Grant, the human tank. Now here's the crazy part. The Union had more men, more factories, more railroads, more money, basically more everything. And somehow, they were still losing. Why? Well, meet General McClellan, a man who believed in one thing: never attack, not today, not tomorrow, not ever. McClellan thought the Confederate army was 10 times bigger than it really was. Even when he had the numbers, he refused to attack.
Retreat. We're outnumbered.
The South had generals like Stonewall Jackson, who woke up every morning choosing violence. Meanwhile, the Union got this guy. The Confederates had Stonewall Jackson, a man so good at war he was basically DLC. Whenever the Union attacked, Jackson simply said,
Hello now.
and sent them running. This is why early war looked like Confederacy, win, win, win. Union, we swear we'll get better. Soon. Lincoln had a big problem. Most of his generals refused to fight.
Retreat. We're outnumbered.
So he looked for someone who actually would.
Let's attack, right now.
With Grant in charge, the Union suddenly remembered how to win. He marched west and went straight for 2 Confederate forts. Fort Henry fell almost immediately because it was basically sinking into a swamp.
We picked the worst location.
At Fort Donelson in freezing Tennessee winter, the Confederates tried to negotiate. They asked Grant what his terms for surrender were.
So, what are your terms for surrender?
No terms, except unconditional surrender.
And just like that, he became Unconditional Surrender Grant. But just when Grant thought everything was going great, the Confederates decided to jump scare him. At a little church in Tennessee called Shiloh, Grant's army was camped, relaxing, not expecting much. And then at dawn, the Confederates attacked with everyone they had.
What the?
Grant's entire camp was caught completely off guard. It was one of the bloodiest surprises of the entire war. After the brutally bloody Battle of Shiloh, where around 23,000 soldiers were killed, wounded, or went missing, the Union finally came out on top. But the victory came with a message. Grant wasn't gentle, he wasn't cautious. He was the Union's sledgehammer. And instead of slowing down, Grant said, "Cool. Anyway, moving on." Because while other Union generals hesitated, Grant had one setting: forward. He pushed deeper into the South, forcing Confederate armies to retreat again and again. While the Union was punching the South from the West, they also had a big strategic idea: the Anaconda Plan. Basically, let's squeeze the Confederacy so hard that even their supply wagons start questioning their life choices. It was invented by General Winfield Scott, who immediately retired, probably because he was tired of everyone ignoring him. With the Anaconda Plan slowly squeezing the Confederacy, Grant went straight back to doing what Grant always did, smashing through Southern defenses like a bulldozer with anger issues. After Shiloh, the Union captured Island Number 10, Corinth, and pushed all the way down the Mississippi River. Town after town fell, and the Confederacy looked like it was trying to hold back a flood with a roll of duct tape. Grant was basically collecting Southern cities like Pokemon cards.
Gotta capture 'em all.
Meanwhile, Confederate commanders were starting to suspect that Grant might be just a tiny bit unstoppable. Grant now had his eyes on Vicksburg, the Confederacy's fortress city on the Mississippi. Whoever controlled Vicksburg basically controlled the entire river, and the Union desperately needed a win. The Confederacy? They treated Vicksburg like it was their last PS5 in stock. No one, and I mean no one, is taking this. So Grant didn't try to just attack it directly. No. He surrounded it, besieged it, and starved it out until everyone inside was like, is eating rats still socially acceptable? After over 40 days, Vicksburg finally surrendered on July 4th, 1863. America's birthday. Grant basically gave Lincoln the ultimate holiday gift. While Grant was crushing the Confederacy in the West, the East had its own drama, Gettysburg, the biggest accidental meetup of the war. The two armies literally bumped into each other. Not strategy, just bad timing.
Hey, you're not supposed to be here.
Well, you're not supposed to be here!
Day 1. Lots of shooting, retreating, yelling, war stuff. Day 2. Both sides took positions on the hills. More yelling, more shooting. Day 3. The Confederates tried Pickett's charge. Basically, run across this giant open field and hope for the best. It went about as well as you'd expect. Over half the Confederate soldiers were wiped out, and the attack completely failed. Gettysburg became the turning point of the war. The Confederacy would never go on the offensive again. With the Confederacy on the back foot, the Union needed one big move to finally break their will. That's when General William Tecumseh Sherman said, "All right, boys, time to go for a walk." A 300-mile walk, straight through Georgia. Sherman didn't bother capturing cities. He destroyed railroads, burned supplies, and made sure the South couldn't fight back. This became known as Sherman's March to the Sea, the world's most aggressive road trip. With Georgia devastated and supplies gone, the Confederate Army was exhausted. Cities fell one by one, and morale crumbled completely. By April 1865, Richmond, the Confederate capital, was abandoned. After Richmond fell, General Lee knew the war was nearly over. He tried one last move, escaping west to meet up with the remaining Confederate forces. But the Union Army said, "Nope, we're cutting you off." Grant's forces surrounded Lee from every direction, and the Confederates had nowhere left to run. With no supplies, no escape route, and no hope of winning, Lee agreed to meet Grant at Appomattox Courthouse. And surprisingly, Grant wasn't there to humiliate him. No victory dance, no trash talk. Just, let's end this. Lee surrendered his army, effectively ending the Civil War. With Lee's surrender, the Civil War was effectively over. Other Confederate armies quickly followed, laying down their weapons. After 4 long years, the deadliest conflict in American history had finally ended. Lincoln wanted a peaceful reunification. Malice toward none, charity for all. He hoped to rebuild the South, not punish it. But just days after the surrender, tragedy struck. Lincoln was assassinated at Ford's Theater, shocking the nation. The Civil War transformed America forever. It ended slavery, strengthened the federal government, and set the country on a new path. But the scars of the war remained, and many challenges were still ahead. And that was the American Civil War.